With the March Madness tournament ending, and for the second year in a row, the women's championship game has had higher ratings than the men's championship games. And with the two biggest stars of the women's tournament being Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark being drafted, the discourse around women's basketball has started again. My thing is, for years, women's basketball fans have been begging for a drop of exposure or some type of promotion for the longest. Yet, we were met with no one cares, or if the NBA lowered the rim so they could dunk, we would watch argument, which is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I understand this is not a video about that specific topic, but I've actually been dying to get this off my chest for so long, especially since Mr. Papa John's owner had something to say himself. My entire thing is, the point of basketball is to put the ball in the hoop. This game is not about dunking at all. You don't get extra points for dunking. You don't get extra points for touching the rim. Nothing. On average, there are only 10 or 11 dunks a game, so it's not even that common. So I'm not sure why there was an argument to lower the rim an entire foot to do so. And here's my problem with that. Many NBA players and fans talk about players whose game is only around the basket. James Harden said it literally takes no skill at all, and y'all call Giannis run and dunk man. My second point is, why lower the rim a whole foot when the NBA ball is already smaller to accommodate the smaller hand size? So we don't really need to lower the rim as well. If middle schoolers can play on a 10-foot hoop, then so can grown women. Maybe, just maybe, y'all's argument to lower the rim, maybe 5-6 inches, maybe it'll be better, but 9 feet is obviously insulting. My last point is, to lower the rim would do more harm than good. Women have been practicing on a 10-foot rim the majority of their lives, and don't you think that a 9-foot goal would ruin their jump shot, ruin their arc, ruin their mechanics? And after that little dumb argument, now we have a new dumb argument, which is, oh, women needs to watch women's sports more. Which, guys, let's be honest here. Let's sit down. Let's be honest. Which gender watches sports more? Okay, thank you. The majority of people who watch sports are already men. I'm not sure why we want to pivot in that direction anyways. But not to mention that a lot of women did and have watched women's sports. And if we look at the demographics for women's basketball in particular, we would see that there's a 10% more increase in viewership of women. The point is to expand the game to men and women. It seems like just now the women's game has been promoted for how many years? The media is finally bringing attention to these wonderful ladies. I mean, we just got Steph versus Sabrina in the 3-point contest, which has already brought more eyes to the WNBA and their players. Kobe literally was like low-key the brand ambassador for Sabrina Ionescu. He literally made those orange WNBA hoodies popular. The women's game is growing because it's finally getting that attention. It's finally being promoted. There are already marketable stars in the WNBA, and this year proved that alone. We've already got a player to get her first signature shoe, and we have new talent on the horizon with Aaliyah Boston and Shakira Austin. We are only 2 to 3 generations removed from Title IX. The WNBA was only founded in '96. So now we have those players like Juju Watkins who could have grown up watching those players in the WNBA when you really could not have said that 15 years ago. So it's still going to take a while for the next generation to reap the rewards from this one. That's why you need to appreciate the people who laid the ground for you, because you're not going to plant those seeds and get the fruit in the same day. A change is not going to happen overnight. And we are only seeing this reaction towards these new WNBA players because of the new fans that are not aware of the conditions of the players in the WNBA. We've been saying, hey, the W isn't paying enough. That's why some players go play in Europe. We've been saying, hey, the W needs an expansion. Too many players are getting cut. We've been saying, hey, the WNBA players do not need to be flying charter and taking buses to get to games. I believe the owner of the New York Liberty got in trouble or something for flying his players private. So now these new fans who are being introduced into the WNBA through women's college basketball are now facing the harsh reality of what those ladies have to go through. This is why us WNBA fans have been screaming at the top of our lungs for years. And now that the game is being showcased, at least at the college level, we need that reciprocated for the W. I only started watching the WNBA 3 years ago. And I really started watching during the Olympics, and I watched the women's team. And I was like, man, this some amazing ball. Passing, ball movement, wonderful. After all these years, people talking bad about the W or showcasing these lowlights, making people think the league isn't good enough, and on top of that, it constantly getting compared to the NBA, I was just blown away at the product because there is talent in the WNBA as well. Because the viewership has gone up a lot during the regular season and the postseason. We're seeing players appearing a lot more in sponsorships to being a part of a talk show on ESPN. So I truly want the WNBA to continue to grow, and by the end of this decade we can see major improvements to the leagues. Players' wages and conditions can be more fair. No more comparing it to the NBA because the W is a different league from the NBA, so of course it's going to play different. These last few years have proved that women are marketable, and once we continue on this upward trajectory and more people get their misogynistic ways by thinking this random person off the street can beat a professional basketball player, then we can finally see the growth that the women's game deserves and needs. Also, can we freaking stop this narrative that WNBA players are hating on Caitlin Clark, because that's definitely not true. First of all, some of y'all might not be familiar with Diana Taurasi, but she literally poops on everybody. She don't spare nobody's feelings. Kelsey Plum literally called her an a-hole, and trust me y'all, she like that. He's also an old head that rarely gives young players their flowers. And also, believe it or not, women can also trash talk as well. I do understand that, guys. I mean, if we look at Shaq, Carlos Boozer is quite literally on record saying that no rookie is going to help the Cavs. And there's really not a player in the WNBA that is acting like that. These women are not hateful at all, and they are very supportive of each other. But at the same time, they're not going to let a rookie show them what's up. People were going at Wemby all the time this season. Joel Embiid dropped 50 on him. De'Aaron Fox used to give Ja Morant a hard time his first few years in the league, and Patrick Beverley literally harassed Lonzo during his first NBA game. It's all a part of the competition. It happens every year. The rookies want to put the league on notice, and the vets want the rookies to know that they not on that level just yet. It's in the name of the game, and this does not come out of jealousy. Thank you guys for making it this far. I was low-key rambling the whole time, but it is what it is. Also, just a quick little PSA. I did not make this video to have, arguments or debates in the comments, like at all. I just wanted to talk about the discourse that I've been seeing since like the beginning of April, really just about the women's game. And since there's a lot of people who are going to be new watching the WNBA. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace and chicken grease. Just a couple of years ago, I saw people getting mad for calling Candace Parker CP3. And don't get me wrong, Chris Paul is literally my favorite player of all time, but let's be real. Candace Parker has accomplished more in her career than he has. And then